Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Sunday Q&A on a Monday night. Because, time's been running away with me lately. Basically, I got a phone call from our favourite end user up the top of the road, and he says, they said, can you do 2 drops in Brighton on Saturday? Yeah, I said, yeah, I can do that, lovely. And then they said, and can you also do a drop in Pimlico on Saturday? And I went, yeah, I can do that too, yeah, no problem. And then they said, and can we load you at 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, because that way it gives James a bit of an lay in. And I went, yeah, of course we can, no problem. Then I got a phone call, and it was, we just realised, because I've dropped it before, it's in the lanes, and they went, they shut the barriers at 10 o'clock. It's a pedestrianised place, so you've got to get in before 10 o'clock. Oh, by the way, we were in the kitchen because the phone's nearly flat, so I've had to plug the charger in so it don't die halfway through the video. And I went, okay, no problem. Yeah, we can do that. That's fine. And so I was up at 4. I loaded it the night before. I was up at 4. I was into Brighton to do the first drop at 7. And then I did the one round the corner at 7:15. And then I got into Pimlico at 9:30, 10 o'clock. Got that dropped, got the van washed, got home, done the PODs. And then Lisa went, yeah. And then we was off to Norfolk to see friends. So then there was the drive to Norfolk. Stayed overnight. Got up in the morning, drove back from Norfolk. My wife drove there. I drove back. Yeah, there's going to be a video about that. And then by the time I got back, that was 1 o'clock, and the kids had been out to some do in London, and we had a quick drink, and then it was Sunday afternoon, and I was like, oh, I'm tired. So I watched Captain Marvel, which I've seen before. Very good. But yes, I didn't get time to do my Q&A Sunday. So today is Sunday Q&A on a Monday. Sorry, I would have done it on a Saturday and posted it on a Sunday, but it was just crazy. Sorry, won't do it again. So what we got? Got a bit of grief this week. Not the first time, won't be the last, but I'm going to do it on a separate video because, these things are general, they're genuine issues that must be addressed. So I will do you guys a video, supplementary video. Basically, it's Offside Logic, Scouse, Dennis, and Longfinger. Hello, Longfinger. Hello, mates. But I'm going to do you guys a little separate video just because otherwise this one's going to drag on a bit, and that one we don't really want to do it. And because, time is of the essence, Monday night, family's going to be home soon. I finished in Watford at like 2:30, and I thought this is too early for me to go home, so I sat there till about 3-ish. And then, of course, I'm thinking, I've got a million things to do. By the time you get home, and then the phone rings, then the phone rings, then the phone rings. Then I actually had to go and see another guy who might be using us, which fingers crossed on that score. And then I had to move all the logs in outside, which have been sitting in the rain. And here I am, and you have no interest in this whatsoever. You're saying, I don't care. Tell me, tell me how the PODs work. Right. So what we got? Valentini Andrew, career driver in Dublin. He sort of any advice really on the Van Gogh or the CX and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, to be honest with you, mate. I don't really know how it works in Dublin. We're based in the southeast, so you're a bit of a distance from us, and I don't know. So this is one of those cries out to everybody out there. If you're on the CX and you're running in Dublin, or if you're running in another country and you want to give some advice that we can pass on to Valentini, it would be very much appreciated. Christopher Zouplis, what's Manchester like for the CX? Right. The CX tends to work around industrial areas. So if you look around you and you've got miles and miles and miles of fields, there's a good chance you're not going to get many jobs. If you look around you and you've got miles and miles and miles of industrial units, pickup units, distribution hubs, engineering places, then there's a good chance you're going to get an awful lot more jobs. The difficulty is areas I've said this before, areas where you've got a lot of work, you've got a lot of drivers. I remember getting to Leicester once thinking, I'm going to say that, Leicester, no problems, Leicester is huge. And then I waited and waited. I just couldn't work out why it weren't coming my way. And then I hit the map and the whole thing turned green. I was at about 50 green pins around me. I'm thinking, well, there's going to be a lot of drivers bidding on these jobs here. As it was, I did get out. But it's the thing. It's areas of high concentration. I still personally would prefer an area of high concentration, because if you're clever about it and if you can bid right and if they use you before, So personally, I would rather be in Manchester in the middle of Norfolk or Penzance. But you bear in mind, it's good for jobs, but there's also the competition is fierce. So there you go. Barat Odira, I think it's like that. Oh yeah, he said, can I do a link to Darren's channel? Yeah, I'd like I'm that advanced. No, but I'll tell you what, it's called That Trucking Blog, and he's done one about Yorkie bars, because he's a truck driver. So you've got to do one about Yorkie bars. It's called That Trucking Blog. Please watch, please subscribe. He's a nice guy. What else we got? Yorkshireman's Daily Grind. Takes a flask. He said, I take a flask when I'm out on the road and sandwiches, when I haven't got time to stop and eat, and when you get home and the wife cooks us a nice big proper dinner, you appreciate it all the much more. Yeah, I know, I never thought I'd take a flask. I got one bought for me for Christmas, and I thought I'd leave it in the drawer. I'd be lost without one. In fact, we've gone one step further. Oh, you bugger. Just getting out the big carry driver bag. This is what we use now. This is available on Amazon for about 11.5 quid, and I don't even know the make of it. But this is what we refer to as the Tommy Tippy Cup. So I've regressed. But it's quite cool because it's got a little clicky lock thing there, and I like this. Hey, look at that. Click. It's like having a flick knife, but in the form of a cup. Yeah, like that. What else we got going on there? Andrew Broadbent. Sorry, mate, about the QuickBooks inquiry. Yes, I am on QuickBooks. No, I don't understand it. Yes, I did it wrong. The accountant had to sort it out for me. And unfortunately, I can't really do a thing going, this is how QuickBooks works, I could do with the CX, without basically showing all the drivers, all our money's going out, all our end users. So it kind of don't work. But yes, the QuickBooks thing, I think it's still at some stage going to be integrated with the CX. It hasn't at the moment. We tend to use the CX for the invoicing, but we use the QuickBooks to keep track of the business. Basically, that's the short of it, really. So I don't really know what I'm doing. Brad Wilson. Brad Wilson says he spends about a third of his job on fuel. Is this right? No. That seems really high. I mean, the way I work, it depends. No, it's not. It's really high. If you're in a small van, you should be doing 65p a mile on a quote. You should be doing about 10p a mile on fuel. If you're in a Luton, I reckon you should probably be doing about 110 a mile on a quote. If you can get 120, 130, but competition is fierce out there at the moment. I never used to bid less than 65, 70 pound on Luton jobs. Now, if it's a short job, if it's 20-mile job, 15-mile job, I ain't going to get it. I've been bidding 50 quid. There was one today, 40 pound, I nearly went. And I'm thinking, yeah, but I've got to drive from Watford to Welwyn Garden City and then back to Hemel Hempstead. It's going to take me 3 hours. It's going to take me at least 2 hours. And it's like job paid £30. I thought, no, it doesn't. You might pay someone else £30. Don't pay me. But that seems too high. I would imagine that your fuel should be round about a fifth. So yeah, mate, you want to look into that one. Maybe think about getting a newer van, a tidier van, or maybe bid a bit more money on jobs. But yeah, that seems high to me. Was it? I don't quite know. This one says. On the similar sort of note, I can't get a Pantome or something like that. It says he wants to join the CX, but he's thinking about joining the CX with a smaller van because it's cheaper. Try it. Why not? I keep saying everyone is different. Everyone does it their way. Join with a smaller van, and if you find that it works for you in the smaller van, stay with a smaller van. There are lots of Uncle Alberts out there. They get away from the missus, they're happy. You may decide to join with a smaller van and then go, do you know what? Actually, you might decide to go and take your operator's license get an operator's license, take your HGV and buy yourself a truck. But there's only one way to find out, and that's to get involved. The best way to learn the CX is to actually do it. But I'll give you all the pointers I can for the best of my ability for what they're worth. But yeah, try it with a small van, see how you go. If it's no good, then get a bigger van or go and do something else. So, it's kind of a bit like that in life. What else we got? Neil Bradley. Is there any work for medium wheelbase and transits, or is it all Lutons? I would say probably, coming back to the small van thing, that's Flea. That's one of the 4 cats. I would say coming back to the small van thing, 7 out of 10 jobs are probably small van. Sometimes not. Sometimes Friday afternoons maybe. Sometimes Monday mornings you get an awful lot more Luton jobs. I don't know why. But yeah, a lot of jobs do come up for small vans. Flea, what are you looking at? Yeah, okay, I'm doing a video. Bless her. But yeah, no, there's work for everything. There's work for medium wheelbase. I kind of sometimes think that the middle vans are like the worst of both worlds because you're going to be kind of a bit heavy on the fuel, and also you probably maybe not getting quite so many jobs. But the advantage is if you are in a transit, if you're in a long wheelbase, you're in a medium wheelbase, you can still bid on short wheelbase jobs. You can still bid on small van jobs. You can still bid on minivan jobs because you'll get them in. So, I mean, I always say the van will talk to you. Buy the best van you can with the money that you've got at the time. See how you go, and if it doesn't work out, you can always change later on. John Ramsey. He says he's looking to run someone. What kind of percentage would you think to run them on? I don't know, John. I'll be honest with you. 20%. Off the top of my head, I think if you're going to try and make a business of it, that's kind of what you need to be looking at. And you've got to bear in mind you're going to have to swallow some of your own costs as well. It's obviously much better if you can get end users. If you've got end users, then you don't have to. You can get a much bigger percentage, and you can still afford to pay that other person the money. But if you're going to take them off, if you're going to try and take jobs at the CX, and you're also going to try and run someone just taking jobs off the CX, it's going to be tight. Because there's not an awful lot of money to play with in the first place. A lot of the jobs go very cheaply, and if you're going to run someone, you're going to run someone professional, you're not going to want to pay them peanuts. I would say that's probably your best bet going forward. But what you really want is you want end users, you want your proper end customers, because once you get proper end customers, then you can afford to take a bigger cut and put the job on. Then if you've got a proper end customer, I would say you could probably take 33% and pay out 66%. That's probably about a third, 2/3. I would say it's probably the way forward. Everyone does it differently. You do it your way. Good luck. And Chris Kerwin, who I spoke to today, because bless him, he was dropping in London on Monday, and he said, because he's dropping into the congestion zone, and he said, what's the best way to get a job out? He's coming from up north, out of congestion zone. Congestion zone is a tricky one. Because once you're in the zone and once you paid the zone, if you take another job, then you can do it cheaper because you've already paid your zone money. On the flip side of things, there's not that much comes out of the zone, maybe a bit more out of South London. And it's that distance to pick up will stuff you. So say like today, I was in Clerkenwell. No, I was in Clerkenwell? No. I was in Old Street, just around the corner from Old Street. Begin to see. Dave, help me. And the job has pinged up from Wembley, and it was going to Watford. I'm thinking, well, that's quite handy. It'll get me out of smoke. But even though it's only like 6 miles, it was 3/4 of an hour to get. It wasn't even 6 miles. 3/4 of an hour to get there. So the problem that you kind of got is if you're inside the zone, if you can get a job inside the zone, you can get more money on it. But if it's going from like UB8 or Hounslow or Slough or even on the other side Basildon or what have you, you might ring the guy up and go, look, I'm only 4 miles away, but it's going to take me an hour and 15 minutes to get there. And he's going to go, sorry, it's too late. So what you could do is if you're inside the zone, you could migrate if you're in West London, if you're in a W postcode, maybe you migrate slightly further left. So that takes into account if you can get to the 25, you can pick up that sort of Heathrow area. If you're in the east end side of the zone, again, move slightly further east so that you can get down to Basildon, Purfleet, that kind of area. And if you're south, maybe slightly move up a bit south and see if, basically I would say try and find yourself somewhere between the two. And in the end, something will ping up, I hope. It's London after all. So enough jobs come out of it. What else have we got? Stella Andros. Mate, thanks. He said, nice house. I'd like to see more of it. Well, this is the kitchen. It's quite exciting. I'll be honest with you, mate. Part of the reason why I put the house in the videos, I bought the house a million years ago when I was a market trader, when I was taking good money and they was giving out mortgages on street corners. And then I spent the last 10, 15 years trying to fight to keep it, which I've said before. The reason I put it in the video is I'm kind of hopeful that one day some guy might be watching it who does film sets, and then you get the phone call, go, we really like your house, we'd like to stage the new Jude Law, Cameron Diaz movie there. Go, yeah, that's all right, mate, come around, because they pay you good money for that. I've got people, my cousin's a cameraman, and I've got a good mate of mine who dresses sets, and if they ever see it, they might go, that's the one we're looking for. We need the one with the wooden man in the background doing funny things with his hands. So that's kind of why it goes in the videos, that, and of course it's my house. I was sitting here when I do my videos. And also Andrew Cornell, nice house. Thank you very much. You're very kind. And also, just on a final note, from Mick Bangkok, who's 7,000 miles away, but watches the videos. I presume he's in Bangkok. Is that 7,000 miles away? I would have thought. Probably, I guess. When he comes home, he might become a courier. If you come home, mate, you know where the number is. Just give me a call. And my favourite comment ever. I've been doing these videos now for 3 years. They started off because I've done this thing on the radio, and then they started off as market trader videos, which I was kind of doing to try and plug the book. Shall I Go On, Mum, available on Amazon. It's a really good read, I promise you. You laugh, you'll cry, it's really good. And then they just turned into courier driver videos because I was on the exchange, and now because that's rolled on a little bit, and now Amazon and YouTube actually pay me. I got paid today, £94 and some pence. Don't forget the big thumbs up. Thanks, YouTube. But my favourite comment today, Valiant V, and it said, I'm a printer in Australia. I have no intention whatsoever of ever joining the courier exchange. I love your videos. Mate, thank you. That's the nicest thing. So I'm going to keep them up. I'm going to keep doing them. I hope they're helpful. I hope that you guys are out there. It's getting cold. It's getting dark. We've got about another 4 weeks. What, 4 weeks? Less than 4 weeks today till Christmas. Not a lot happens over the Christmas period, which is good because it means you can spend it with your wives and your families and doing stuff that's important, which is much more important than moving boxes. And in the meantime, take some money and take care. I don't know, catchphrase I changed it around a bit. Take care, take money. Bye, guys.